Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. So glad you guys could join us once again. For those tuning in on the simulcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all can be with us. Those tuning in on IG, I see you guys over there. Glad you all could be with us. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon Live so I can bring you guys this next guest. And this is one that I believe is going to inspire you, going to motivate you, but also remind you of what is possible no matter what circumstances you may be going through or what challenge you may be facing at this particular time. And we're now live on Amazon Live with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. I'm going to type you guys a welcome message over there. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. You also will see the book by our next guest. It's now available in paperback as well as Kindle. That is Kate Thurman's book, Beauty Beyond the Tears. You see, I have my paperback here. We're going to talk to Kate not only about what's spilling for her to share her own personal story, but also what she hopes is able to do for all of you guys as well. Kate, welcome back to the broadcast.
Hi, Cyrus. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So, Kate, let's go ahead and run through some of these titles before we get into our conversation. Now, people are getting to know you now as an author, but you also are a motivational speaker. You're an
Mhm.
individual who's been involved with the nonprofits. You've done a lot of work before you released your solo book, Beauty Beyond the Tears. But what has it been like for you now to have your own Amazon bestseller, Kate?
Oh, it's surreal. I feel good about it. I knew it was coming. I knew when God told me to write this book, it was going to be a very inspirational book. I knew it was going to touch people. So knowing that it's an Amazon bestseller just helps it. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. This book is very personal, though, Kate, because it goes into something you've never publicly talked about before that not a lot of people knew about, and that is what you've gone through in the journey of miscarriages. And I say miscarriages because it's been more than one. And you take us through the journey of your husband, Chris, and you, Chris Thurman, who's been on this program, who you guys co-host a podcast together. You also have your own solo podcast. What was it like for you to take us into something so personal, Kate, into talk to us not only about the experiences but also the feelings as well?
Oh, at first, I think I was expected to be nervous.
Hmm.
I was, but I wasn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Meaning, God told me to write the book. So because God told me to write the book and he's not the author of fear, what are you nervous about? So I wasn't nervous. I was excited. Um, and he guided me and what to put in the book. So
Hmm.
I was excited and I don't know, I felt fulfilled. It helped me heal
Mm.
to be able to do this book.
Well, Kate, let me tell you what I learned about you. Now, I think anyone who spent any time with you know that you're a go-getter. You're a person who's always going, even when things may not be at their best. But I love the honesty in this book. You talk about after one of the miscarriages how you and Chris both were saying that you were fine, but then
Mhm.
you said that was a lie, that
Mhm.
you weren't fine. Hello to you, Kia. Good to see you over there on YouTube. Talk to us about that because for one thing, to be able to have gone through the loss of a miscarriage, right, and to, as you talk about in one of the chapters, going through what your experience and the hope of that child, and then having that hope gone. What was it like for you to reflect on that time and being honest with yourself during that time?
I think when I was going through it, I felt like at one point, to be completely honest, I felt like, okay, I had the last miscarriage and you showed me two visions of two different babies. So I felt like, I knew this time was the one. This time was, the promise was, and and when it happened, I couldn't say like I used to say, I'm okay. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't okay. I was mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned how to just say to people who really I knew cared. So if you text me and ask how I was doing, or if you call and I knew you were genuine, I told the truth. I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And learning that I wasn't okay finally helped me heal from all the past ones that I didn't heal from because I was too busy trying to protect everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And Kate, this is an important conversation because there will be other women out there who will know what that feels like. There'll be other husbands out there like Chris, right, who have been
Mhm.
through this with their wives because it is a shared experience, but it's not just the couple that goes through it. You talk about, and we've mentioned this before, it's the entire family, right? Your
Yeah.
friends as well. You
Mhm.
seem to be almost as hurt for them as you were for yourself. Talk to us about that because I think for a lot of us who may be reading the book, Kate, we may
Mhm.
think, how can you feel so strongly about like your parents and others and how they're going to take it. Why do you think that was so difficult for you during that time?
It was difficult because, um and speaking for both Chris and me and Chris, both of us,
Hmm.
feeling like you're letting your family down. So for my
Gotcha.
family, a lot of my family, even when the 2 that I birthed, it was very hard. Those were even traumatic births. That's why, I even put that in there. But,
Hmm.
um, seeing how excited they got and, ready to hold Chris's baby or to hold my baby, and knowing that most of my family, they were more so nervous for me, for my health, because of the deliveries are so hard.
Hmm.
So, and then I felt like letting them down. We were even scared to even tell people that we had miscarried,
Yeah.
because it was the letdown, it was the heartbreak. Seeing them heartbroken was a lot. Like the miscarriage before this last one, I remember when we told my mother-in-law, she actually hung up on us, because it was so much. The pain was so much for her. We talked back about a couple hours later, but
Hmm.
she needed to process, and remembering seeing her face and going to get my hair done, and my friend telling me, about this last one. My mom was like, I lost my grandbaby. And I was like, she didn't say that to me, knowing that they were hiding their feelings
Yeah.
to try to protect us. And
Hmm.
we were over here almost afraid to even tell people that it happened again. Feeling like you let your family and your friends down. You almost feel like you're a loser a little bit.
Hmm.
Feeling like my body failed me. Um, Knowing that I was on bed rest, still feeling like I did something wrong,
Right.
and realizing that I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't the time.
Right.
And God had a purpose for us.
Yes, such a great point. Hey, mom, my mom's over there on Facebook. Good to be able to see
Hey,
you,
mom.
Miss Webb Sims. Glad you could be able to join us. And I think for a lot of people, again, Kate, that's why I'm so glad that you decided to share your story. I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to share your story. Talk to us about now that the book is out. What has that been like for you to hear from other women who've been sharing their stories with you?
It it helps me know that I made the right decision, that I'm glad I was obedient to what God told me to do. I have
Hmm.
a lot of women now that I talk to, counseling, and went through the same thing. And when the anniversary of their baby, the miscarriage or the death of their child or loved one comes around, and to have them reach out to me to try to inspire them, and they look at me like, you went through all of that. We talk about everything that I've been through, and still telling them I'm not turning away from God.
Yeah.
I'm standing on God's promise, and because it's still God over everything, no matter what you went through. So now that the book is out, and to hear the feedback, and to hear that so many other women have been through the same thing, so many other women felt like they couldn't talk about it. Sometimes when you have a miscarriage, sometimes you feel like, um, that if the baby wasn't actually, you didn't actually deliver the baby, that it didn't matter. So sometimes when having a miscarriage, I felt that. I felt
Yeah.
like, well, nobody's really going to pay me any attention. It doesn't matter, because my baby didn't live 30 years. You know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
if my baby only lived an hour. So that you have those feelings, and to know that now that the book is out, other people had those feelings, and to help them get through it, it feels good, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin, hello to you over there on YouTube. Glad you could join us. I appreciate all of you guys over there on Facebook, on LinkedIn as well. For those that are just tuning in, welcome. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm speaking with Kate Thurman today. She's a motivational speaker. She's an Amazon best-selling author. She's also a media personality herself. She hosts her own podcast called The Kate Thurman Show, as well as a show with her husband, Chris Thurman, called Graceful Gatherings with the Thurmans. But she's been really sharing her story. And one thing we have not talked about on the air before, Kate, is the title of the book itself,
Mm.
Beauty Beyond the Tears. How did you come up with that title?
Uh, I prayed over that. I was like, okay, I want to be able, okay, Lord, you told me to write this book. Well, I don't want to write and say um, X, Y, and Z after miscarriage, or I wanted people to understand that there is beauty on the other side of the pain. I wanted people to understand that joy comes in the morning. It's just, it was with beauty beyond the tears. It was letting them know that no matter what you go through, there is a light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
and that's how I came up with it. And then I was like, okay, beauty beyond the tears. And then I was like, okay, subtitle, finding strength after loss, because the thing about it is you still have to find strength.
Yeah.
You still have to go on. You still have to push through, and through praying and fasting, and still worshiping God in the midst of it all.
Your faith is a big part of this, Kate. We see that throughout the book. You have scriptures in there that helped you. Do you feel as though your faith became stronger as you were able to endure these challenges and
Mhm.
struggles?
Yes, that's a big part of why um, I wrote this book too, because I wanted people to see that my faith wasn't wavered. My faith grew. And that's another reason why I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you, Lord. Because when you go through life and yeah, you're praying, you're doing this, you're doing that. But it's like when that moment, just like in the book of Job, when when a lot of people, when they hear double for your trouble, they when I say Job, they say double for the trouble. Well, he didn't lose faith, so that for me, that meant a lot because of the covenant that God had, and the fact that no matter what, Job know he didn't do anything wrong. I knew I didn't do anything wrong. I
Yeah.
knew that this is what God did for me, but I also knew that I couldn't lose my faith.
Mhm. I want to talk about that for other people, Kate, because Chris, your husband, and you are now talking about this book. I've had the two of you on talking about what it's like for you to have it out. Are you finding though that people are coming to you and sharing their own stories now that your story is out and you've been able to share yours?
Yes, so many people have, and it sounds so familiar. We've tried for years and we couldn't. And a lot of times when it's a couple and you're going through it, it's not just one person, but it's an actual couple.
Yeah.
And they've been married for some years, and they're older. Chris and I are not in our 20s.
Hmm.
So when you hear that they went through the same thing, and most of them is like, but God. And some people will come and say, well, adoption is for me. Whatever God tells you is for you. It doesn't mean that you're any less of a person, of a mother or a father, if you adopt, if you have a natural birth, or whatever the situation may be. So many people coming to us now. I, Cyrus, I wish I could just stand there and just turn around and see everybody at once and just scream out loud and say, keep your faith. That's how many people are coming to me, and being able to minister to people throughout the day, throughout the week. I love it. I'm pleased. I feel fulfilled for being able to share my story and inspiring so many different people.
Love that. Jose Maisonette, hello to you over there, joining us on the East Coast. They're on Instagram. Glad to be able to see you, Jose. Hope all is well. So, Kate, that leads me to another question because I think, now that you are building up this platform, you are one, I think, giving women and even, the men in their lives permission to talk about something that is so personal, something that can be hurtful, but also being able to know that they're not alone in it. How are you
Mm,
helped in that? To know that you weren't the only one who had felt that kind of pain, was
mm.
feeling that kind of pain, and had gone through a difficult situation. How were you helped through that?
What helped me honestly through that was, as I decided and told to tell everybody what God had told me to do. It was a few people, one in particular, and I say her name so much, Chanel, because though she lost her own child, realizing that how much she helped me with that just one statement. It doesn't matter if your baby came out and you had your baby here for 25 years, or 25 days or 25 minutes. So knowing that, that helped me. and knowing that this book is a ministry, this book is going to do the exact same thing. Let you know it's okay, knowing that I've helped these people in the midst of my pain. Sometimes when I talk to people and they say, "You wrote, when did you have the miscarriage?" They thought it was a couple years ago. I said, "No, it was actually a couple months ago. I wrote it literally in the midst of the pain."
Mm.
So they look at me like, "Oh wow." They look at the strength in that, right? It
Yeah.
is strength. It's strength in there, but it's strength in finding your purpose and knowing who you are in Christ. It's strength in knowing that there is light again at the end of the tunnel. But what helped me the most was knowing that someone else's heart is mended and being able to say, "I see your heartbreak. I feel your heartbreak.
Mm.
I was there." Don't think that I don't sometimes wake up and wonder what if, but then I turn my attention and my mind and my heart posture back to God because that's what I'm focused on. So knowing that I can help people stay focused on God, staying focused on the promise, whatever promise he and purpose he has for your life is what matters to you. And that's what matters to me. So to help people in that way feels so good. I sleep good knowing that I've helped someone.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think too to know that it's bigger than you, right, Kate?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though it's personal to you, because it was your own loss, it's your own experiences, but also knowing that this is going to be something that's going to give people the courage they need for one to share their stories, or even to know what they can come out of. So that
Mm-hmm.
leads me to how you're using your platform, and we want to give a special shout out to our media outlets there in Atlanta, who will be tagging in this post. Cindy at Prairie Dodgers, good to be able to see you over there on IG. Glad to be able to see you. Because I know you're also wanting to use this platform. I mentioned you're a motivational speaker, Kate.
Mm-hmm.
How do you hope to be able to use your platform in interviews like this and in speaking? How do you hope to be able to use your platform to be able to empower women?
Well, to be able to use the platform to empower women and men, whoever needs to be empowered, I want to
Mm,
be that voice. I always talk about suffering in silence. And
mm-hmm,
so I stand firm on breaking that silence even through the miscarriage. I want to use this platform to help people know that it's okay to speak about it and start their healing journey. I need you to heal to move on because a lot of times when we suffer in silence, we don't know that mental and it sits in the back of your heart. It sits in the back of your mind and you're stuck. And sometimes when you know you have someone that is not afraid to use their platform to say, "Hey, I've been there, I've been through it," and you want to help them get to the next stage or next level in their lives. So that's what I want to do with the platform. I want to be able to speak to them, encourage, pray with them, whatever is needed. Let this story be a ministry to them so they can do the same thing that I did, use their voice and no more walking in silence. I stand firm on breaking the silence because a lot of times that's how, for me personally, um, having that mental anguish and keeping things bottled up, it makes you different. It made me, I was angry a lot at one point. And
mm-hmm,
so I want to be able to help people get past that. I want to minister to them, whatever you need to get you to the next level so you can be great in the world and walk in your purpose, whoever it is.
mm. How did you get over or address your anger with God?
Mm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was mad. I was mad. At one point with this last miscarriage, it was different. The first 4 or 5, however many it was, I only put four in the book, but it was five. The
Mm-hmm,
first couple of miscarriages, I masked it. That's where that mental anguish came in. I masked
mm-hmm,
it. I was, like, okay, still walked around. I still smile, like, okay, I got this. I got this. Not this time, but the next time. Not this time, but the next time. But this last time, I couldn't even open my mouth to pray.
mm-hmm,
Um, and to hear God speak to me, I heard it just loud as day, read Samuel, Hannah. And I remember I was the only one in there. I was like, "Hannah, okay." So when he sent other vessels to tell me that same thing, I said, "Okay, I hear you, Lord," because I was done. I would lay there knowing that I needed to pray and I couldn't open my mouth.
yeah.
I couldn't open. I screamed. I think I put in the book, and I hope I put it in there so you guys could feel how it was written and how I was actually feeling because I put it in there. That I remember beating the glass with my hand, and I remember looking over at Chris, and I saw him, gently wipe his eye, trying to make sure he's strong because he's driving. I remember screaming out, "Why?" It was loud, and I was
Mhm.
mad.
Yeah.
I was mad,
Hmm.
and I had no understanding as to what was going to be next for me. But I was mad. I couldn't connect with God for a minute, and I honestly sit here and say, when I started to pray again, and I started to understand what I needed to do. What this is bigger than me. This
Yeah.
is what's needed. This is not about me. And
Hmm.
I remember saying when I came back around, it's like I hear you, Lord, and I wiped my tears. I wiped my tears, and I just went to work because it wasn't about me. No matter, even though I went through it, it wasn't about me. It's
Yeah.
about everybody else who needs to be touched by this story.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I know will happen. Stacy Thomas, hello to you over there on Facebook. Stacy says, such a powerful story. It definitely is that, Stacy. Again, everyone, Kate Thurman has been our guest. The book is Beauty Beyond the Tears. It's out now. It's an Amazon bestseller. You all can now get it in print. I'm going to highlight it for you guys there for $14.99, or you can be to get the Kindle edition for only $1.99. You go ahead and one click it now. Go ahead and start reading. It's a powerful book that takes you not only to Kate and Chris's journey of dealing with loss, but also the emotion involved, but also the journey of faith through it all too. So many great lessons and reminders for all of us, whether you've gone through a similar loss or not. It reminds us that we're not alone in what we're doing, but also the importance of our story. Kate, really appreciate you stopping by. How can our audience stay connected with you?
On Facebook, I am Kate Thurman. On LinkedIn, Kate Thurman. On YouTube is Chris and Kate Thurman. If you wanted to email me with information about the book, is Kate Writes 80 at gmail.com. Or you can give us a call at 770-765-6641. And if you wanted to be a part or you needed help with the nonprofit, because we do have a nonprofit, is angelicallyblessed.org.
Love it. Well, Kate, thank you again for spending some time with us. Really appreciate you stopping
Thank you.
back by and looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you.
More than welcome. We thank your audience for tuning in. It's another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.